The United States President and B.J. Mayfield, The Watcher. Part 1, The First Meeting. From the President's Point of View. I will never forget the day I stepped into that quiet room. The noise of the world was pounding in my head, advisors arguing, nations shifting, responsibilities stacking higher than I ever imagined. When I walked in, the Watcher, B.J. Mayfield, was already there, standing near the window as if he could see farther than the horizon itself. He turned toward me, calm, steady, almost peaceful. I sat down, head low, and finally admitted what I had not spoken to anyone. "I need to tell you something," I said. "All this restructuring, all this reshaping of the world that I keep trying to do, it feels bigger than me. I tell myself it is for the good of the nation, maybe the world, but sometimes I am not even sure anymore if it is right." He looked at me with compassion, not judgment. "Sir, Proverbs chapter 19 verse 21 says, 'Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails.' What you are feeling is the tension between your plans and God's purpose." His words hit me harder than any briefing ever had. I leaned back and confessed, "I feel like I have to control everything. Like everything will collapse if I do not hold it all together." He answered softly, "Colossians chapter 1 verse 17 says, 'He is before all things, and in him all things hold together.' It is not your grip that keeps the world from falling apart. It is His." That truth made me sit in silence. I had never thought of it that way. Then he continued, "Psalm chapter 127 verse 1 tells us, 'Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain.' You can lead, you can build, but if it is not the Lord's foundation, it will not stand." I felt exposed, but in a healing sort of way. I have been trusting myself too much, I admitted. My own ideas, my own strategies, my own strength. He nodded. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to Him and He will make your paths straight." The Lord never asked you to carry His part of the burden. I looked at him, almost pleading. What about the people? They are divided, angry, desperate for direction. I keep trying to unify them through policies and power. He answered with deep conviction. Unity cannot be manufactured. John chapter 13 verse 34 says, "A new command I give you, love one another." And John chapter 8 verse 32 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Love and truth, not force, bring unity. For a moment I felt something shift inside me, like a weight sliding off my shoulders. He reminded me, John chapter 3 verse 16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life." That promise reaches leaders too. I stood slowly, feeling lighter than when I entered. I shook his hand with genuine gratitude. "Thank you," I told him. "You have given me more clarity in a few minutes than I have had in months." "It is His word," he answered quietly, "and His word always stands." As I walked out of that room, I knew something had changed. Not in the world, not yet, but in me. And for the first time in a long time, I whispered a prayer under my breath. "Lord, lead me. Lead us all." Part 2, The Second Visit. I returned to that quiet room sooner than I thought I would. The world had not slowed down. The pressures had not eased. If anything, they had tightened like a vice around my mind. Yet something inside me kept pulling me back to where the Watcher had spoken truth the last time. I needed that again. I needed something real. When I walked in, he was already there, sitting calmly with an open Bible in his hands. He stood as I entered and offered a respectful nod. "Sir," he said gently, "I sensed you might return." I sat heavily in the chair across from him. "The world is spinning faster," I admitted. "And the more I try to regain control, the more I feel it slipping away." He listened without interrupting, just as before. "I wake up thinking I must be strong," I continued, "but lately I am realizing that my strength is not enough. I do not like saying that out loud." He opened his Bible. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 it says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." You are not asked to be enough. You are asked to be His. I looked up sharply. Weakness feels dangerous for a leader. Not when surrendered, he replied. Surrendered weakness becomes divine strength. Those words settled deeply. I shifted in my seat. There is another thing troubling me. Nations are rising and falling. Leaders are threatening, accusing, pushing for conflict. I keep feeling pressure to respond with power. The watcher's eyes steadied on mine. Psalm chapter 46 verse 10 says, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not inaction. It is alignment. I rubbed my hands together, thinking. Stillness sounds impossible in my position. He shook his head softly. Stillness is not silence. Stillness is trust. I let out a slow breath. Then he continued, 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 1 and 2 urges prayer for kings and all who are in authority. You are called to govern, but God is the one who governs your heart. And He has not abandoned His throne. I leaned back, almost relieved. Sometimes I wonder if God is as involved in governments as He once was. The watcher stepped closer, his voice steady. Daniel chapter 2 verse 21 says, "He changes times and seasons, He deposes kings and raises up others." God has always been involved. Leaders rise and fall by His sovereignty. I swallowed hard. That truth carried weight. What am I supposed to do then? I asked quietly. He answered without hesitation. Walk humbly, lead honestly, and seek Him. Micah chapter 6 verse 8 says, "He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." I nodded slowly, feeling something settle deep in my chest. He added, "God does not ask you to be flawless. He asks you to follow." I stood, feeling calmer than when I arrived. Thank you. I did not realize how much I needed to hear that. He closed his Bible gently. This room is always open to you, sir. And so is the throne of grace. I left the room quietly, carrying his words with me. Outside, the world still roared, but inside, something had shifted again. Not victory, not certainty, but alignment. And as I walked down the corridor, I whispered the same prayer I had whispered after our first meeting. Lord, lead me. And lead this nation. Part 3, The First Meeting. From BJ's point of view. The room was quiet when the president stepped inside for our first meeting. His shoulders carrying the weight of a nation. I, BJ Mayfield, Christian and self-proclaimed watcher, read Ezekiel, stood near the window, praying silently for the Lord's guidance. He took a seat across from me and exhaled heavily. I need to admit something, he said, looking down at his hands. I have realized that the things that I am trying to restructure in the world, the systems I'm pushing to reshape, they are bigger than me. I keep telling myself that it is for order, or strength, or stability. What does the Word of God say about this, BJ? I answered gently, Sir, the scriptures say in Proverbs chapter 19 verse 21, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." What you are wrestling with is the difference between human ambition and divine purpose. He leaned back, thinking. I keep feeling like I have to control everything. Like the world will fall apart if I do not hold it all together. I replied, in Colossians chapter 1 verse 17 it says, "He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together." The world does not rest on your shoulders, sir. It rests on His. The president nodded slowly. But what about the pressure? The expectations? Everyone wants something from me. Sometimes I think I need to reshape the nation just to survive the moment. I answered, Psalm chapter 127 verse 1 declares, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." You can make changes, but without the Lord's foundation they will not stand. His voice grew quiet. I admit I have been trusting my own understanding more than anything else. I opened my hands. Then remember Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to him and he will make your paths straight. The Lord is not asking you to carry what only he can hold. The president looked at me, eyes tired but softening. And what about the people? So many are divided. I keep trying to unite them through policy, through authority, through power. I gently answered, unity comes not from force, but from truth and love. John chapter 13 verse 34 says, "A new command I give you, love one another." And John chapter 8 verse 32 tells us, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Unity rests where truth and love meet. He exhaled, almost relieved. I think I needed to hear that. I nodded. Sir, even leaders need to return to the feet of the one who leads all. The Lord still calls, still guides, still corrects, still restores. And he is faithful. The president rose slowly, offering a sincere handshake. Thank you. You have given me something real, something rooted. It is his word, not mine, I said. And his word always stands. As it says in John chapter 3 verse 16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life." That truth applies to kings, presidents and watchers alike. He smiled faintly, then stepped toward the door, shoulders a little lighter than when he entered. And I whispered a final prayer, Lord, guide him. Guide us all.